on that. There's a big difference in just the way the loading shelf is and the way that it straps in and the angle that it's supposed to sit on your back. There's all science to it. So with these outdoorsman's frames, you get like the best aspects of an outdoor pack, but you have this big ass post on the back, just like a Olympic bar. You slide those plates on it and clamp it down. It all sits perfect. You get an insane workout with one of those steer mills.
Oh yeah, it'll change if your normal workout is without that, and you just start light, people. It does some amazing things for sure. Did you at any point in time consider using her as a jump instead of wrecking?
No,
like catch some sweet air off
I
her
couldn't.
back?
I was turning the corner. She was right there. I was so quick. I had a wipe. I was gonna kill her. I was like,
I don't think
hit
you
her.
would kill her.
I was going pretty quick.
You could have gone up and done like the little skis to the side.
I'm not good at that. I'm not very good at skiing. I'm competent at skiing, but I was like, I wasn't gonna kill her, but I would have maybe broke her leg.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't want to break some lady's leg. I was just coming around this corner and I see her. I see this I don't have control thing. I'm like, fuck, she's going. And then I see kids this way. I'm like, I can't go that way. Shit. And it's just time to go down.
Sacrifice the body.
Yeah, my head was the weird one.
Were you wearing a helmet?
Yeah, but I was dizzy. For the rest of the day, I was like a little out of it. I was like, ooh, I got my bell rung.
Concussion, you think?
For sure, something happened.
Yeah.
Because it was a bang! It was the hard packed snow, and my legs went up, and my head went down. It was a big bang. I have a strong neck, fortunately, so it wasn't as much rattle as could have been.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew it was coming. You know, I was like, oh, here we go. But my bell was wrong for sure. And then because I was a little dizzy afterwards, I went to I was with my 11-year-old, and we were going onto the ski lift, and I was out of it, and the things come around. Yep. I timed it wrong. Fuck, I went too soon. I'm stuck, and I'm like, I can't go. I fell down, and this lady had to help me get back up.
Yes.
I was just out of it. I was just like not quite there. Yeah, it was very embarrassing.
I think you suffered a head injury.
Yeah, I definitely did. But it was only like for the day. The day I was just a little out of it. The next day I was fine. I woke up prepared for the headache. There was no like the post sparring headache that I used to get all the time.
I got my bell rung pretty good, I think about a month ago. Actually, on mats. I was climbing on a guy's back. It was a good lesson for me too. I was
You slipped to the top.
no, I got both of my hands involved, and he rolled and snapped my head into the mat, and I didn't have a chase. And I didn't. Again, I don't know shit, so I'm learning. It's a mistake that I haven't made since then. But yeah, I had my hooks in and was kind of just getting too involved in that drastic movement, and it was a full whack. And the same thing headache for some days afterwards.
Dudes are wild when they try to get out of things, and that's a particularly dangerous move. When someone's on your back, you just like slam them into the ground. It's kind of a dickhead move, really.
Well, it would have been okay if I had had at least one post, but like I said, I wasn't thinking about that. That was
Is he standing? Did he try
no,
to
he's
stand?
turtle. I don't think I would crawl on somebody's back there, Sam. I think that game's not very advanced. Your background, you could probably just play differently.
But even taking someone's back standing is tricky as fuck because they can just throw themselves backwards, and on concrete,
Oh, that's a game over.
it's a death sentence. I mean,
That's what I actually thought about that afterwards, because you will see people who, I'm here because I want to learn to protect myself on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had done that on the street and had my head crack on concrete, I'd have either been waking up in the hospital or not.
You gotta kick their legs out in those situations. If you have someone's back and you're standing, you need the options that exist that don't exist in jiu-jitsu. One of them is you kick their fucking legs out. If you have someone's back, you actually kick their leg. You don't just jump on them with the hooks on concrete. It's just too dangerous. Before you get to that position, you want to yank them and do something, trip them, do something to get rid of their base. But someone who's strong, that's so dangerous. Because someone who's strong can carry you on their back and just throw themselves backwards. Even hardwood floor, anything.
Or even against a building or a car.
Anything. You want to get them to the ground. You want to get them to the ground or a standing guillotine. Like when you're in a front position, that's another one that's really fucking dangerous, man. Guys have gone for takedowns with guillotines. Like say a guy shoots in for a takedown, and a guy grabs the guillotine and pulls back, and then this guy's head is the first thing that hits the ground.
Oh,
because
he's
he's paralyzed.
armpit?
Yes.
Okay.
The guy on Team Alpha Man, on Uriah Faber's team, might be paralyzed for life that way. Yeah, in training.
On the mats?
Yep. Yeah, in training, shoots in for the takedown, and the guy gets him in a guillotine, and they all their weight together falls on this guy's head. His neck compresses and his neck breaks, and he loses his ability to move the rest of his life. It's that's a common one. In fact, it's not common, but it's happened multiple times I'm aware of. And you can imagine on the street, someone tries to take you down on the street, and you elevate to a guillotine position, and fall down and slam your head first.
You could crack it open probably too.
Yeah, it's just there's so many. I mean, one thing that is a good criticism about jiu-jitsu is the lack of takedowns, and that is a real factor in any sort of real-world situation. The hope is if you're in a bar or something like that, there's a scramble, most things wind up on the ground. That's true until you deal with a skilled opponent. And if you deal with a skilled opponent who has takedown defense, and then you're stuck in the situation where, now you're in a realm where you're a white belt, and this guy's a black belt. Like if someone is a wrestler who can strike, it's a terrible position to be in. And we saw that with a lot of, in the early UFCs in particular, a lot of jiu-jitsu black belts just didn't have takedowns. And then they would get involved with a wrestler who would easily stuff their takedown, and the wrestler was a better striker, and those guys got fucked up.
Yeah, imagine that'd be a quick bout.
It's not good. I mean, the only thing a lot of guys did was they would follow their back and try to pull guard and try to entice a guy into coming to their back, and then they would kick off their back. Like those Hickson used those tactics when he fought Funaki.
Like up kicks?
Yeah, and he actually wound up fucking up Funaki's knee by kicking at his knee, hyperextending his knee from his back.
Rugged.
Yeah, that's a common technique. A guy standing over you and you're on your back, posting up, you hyperextend his knee. It's just like judo is the best, in my opinion, for someone who's wearing clothes. I think every jiu-jitsu guy would really greatly benefit from having a good comprehensive knowledge of judo.
How deep would you go?
Judo's a good thing to learn, man, just period. First of all, those guys are so freaky chimp strong. Some of the freakiest chimp strong guys I ever rolled with were judo people. Because judo players, man, they're just everything is constantly this. They're constantly grabbing and everything is hips
Torque and rotation.
And there's so much explosive movement carrying a human body. So, right? So they're doing explosive movement like sandbag training with another 200-pound person all the time, or larger, particularly like women. Like Ronda Rousey, you know how goddamn strong that woman is? She freakishly strong.
Oh, I bet.
Because her whole body was designed to, throw bodies around, throw a human body. I mean, it's like, think of weightlifting, right? Like, when are you ever weightlifting your whole body? Well, maybe if you're squatting, or maybe if you're bench pressing if you're exceptionally strong.
Or deadlifting.
Yeah, or deadlifting. Those are like the compound movements, but like curling or triceps, none of those things, overhead press, very rarely are you using your whole body weight that way.
I don't think it's advisable to do that with your whole body weight.
And your whole body weight is way more difficult to control because it's moving and resisting, and it's, try picking up a dead body, a person who's out cold. It's fucking hard. You gotta scoot a person like if I had to pick up a dude who's 195 pounds and I had to pick him up and he's out cold, fuck, that's hard.
Now put 80 pounds of gear on.
Yes. I could only imagine.
And guns dangling all over the place.
So with a judo player, imagine that, but imagine that person also resisting. Like they're some of the freakiest, strongest people in the world.
I just sit down when I start with judo people. I'm like, fuck you.
Good move. Good move.
I watch them over in the corner and I hear just a whoosh. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down.
It's a beautiful thing to learn, though. It's a beautiful thing to learn if you can get someone that'll really work with you and who's technique oriented, not someone who just wants you to spar all the time. Because one of the things that happens with judo a lot when people just get involved in it, there's a lot of scrambling on the feet that can put your legs in a compromised position where your knee blows out.
How much is in your time watching the UFC? How many of the takedowns do you see are judo based?
It's not that often, but some guys are really good at it. And the guys that are really good at it, it comes up. There's some guys. Back when Cairo Parisian was fighting, Cairo was a great judo player who was in the earlier days of the successful UFC, was one of the better judo guys, and he would hit hip tosses and all kinds of different judo throws all the time. And Ronda, of course, you would do it all the time too, but with Ronda, that was basically the only way she would take you down was with like upper body grabs. Her move was like to grab the head and then take people down with that and use judo. But it does happen. But it only happens, it happens with skilled players.
Yeah.
But when it does happen, it's like it's a big surprise oftentimes, like, whoa.
Well, and those people are the anomaly too, not the norm. I mean, they're two trained fighters at the apex of their sport.
Yeah.
Somebody with a moderate level or understanding of judo is probably not going to have that difficulty in a bar.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, nor as a wrestler.
Yeah.
And again, with wrestling, I always say that if a kid wants to learn martial arts, like there's a lot of good things they should learn, but one of the things they should learn first is wrestling, because it sucks so hard. It sucks so hard. It'll teach you whether or not you really want to fight, whether you really want to compete.
Yeah. I've heard horror stories. Actually, Calvin last night was telling horror stories of wrestling and wrestling kids.
Cashmere shirts on.
I need to determine whether or not he was talking about his experience, other people's experience, or he was making up every goddamn thing he was saying.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. He sells it so well. He sells it so well though that I don't even care because it's so entertaining.
He definitely could wrestle.
Yeah.
I got Cal involved in jiu-jitsu in '96. But I stuck with it.
Yeah.
And he did not sort of drifted in and out. And
he told the story last night of basically why he stopped. He was watching. I think he said Henzo was giving basically a little bit of a deeper dive onto a finer refinement of a technique. Instead of having your hand in this direction, rotate it the other way. And he said he just stood there and realized I just don't care anymore. That was the end of it.
Well, Callan is one of those guys that gets into things for a little bit and then bails on it. He's like same thing
with his garage that he never once used.
I gave him a free bow.
I know, he showed it to me last time I was down.
He's never even drawn it back.
I think it's so it might have the plastic on the string so you can't draw it back.
So much. Yeah, he was telling me he's gonna come over and learn.
He was telling me last night, he's like, I need a tactical shotgun. I was like, oh fuck, here we go.
No, you don't.
Callan, what makes a shotgun tactical? He's like, the ability to go boom, 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 boom. He's like, but I need a short barrel with 7 rounds, and I'm gonna use birdshot. I was like, fuck, man, this is getting worse every time. He's like, birdshot's what I need, right? Birdshot will do it. I'm like, birdshot's great for birds. But so he basically wants a huge shotgun with like a huge magazine tube, but a barrel that sits 2 feet back from the magazine tube, so they'll just bounce stuff.
Yeah, the trajectory of Callan and I with hunting shows like the difference between us as humans. Like in 2012, we both went hunting for the first time.
Yeah.
And since then, the only time he's gone hunting is with me. And since then, he's killed. He killed a deer with me, and then.
I'm assuming rifle.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. We went turkey hunting. I got one. He struck out. We went blacktail hunting on Prince of Wales in Alaska. We both struck out, and then we had a bail a day early because of a storm coming in. We were gonna get trapped. That was the most miserable trip ever, but it was really educational.
Wasn't that a Meat Eater show?
Yeah,
I watched that one. Yeah, you guys were like, hey, we can get a plane in right now.
Well, we were about to get stuck, and I had gigs. I was like, I can't cancel gigs. I mean, this is fun and everything, but there's a real possibility I might not be able to get out of here.
You guys didn't see shit.
We saw a couple deer, and they saw some black bear. It was strategically the wrong time to be in that area, but it was very educational. What was educational was like how good the sun felt when I came back. Like it's always sunny in LA, but I called Ranella up when I got back, and I was like, dude, I have never been happier than today. Like I know it was miserable up there, because you think one of the things that was it wasn't that bad, but what sucked is there's no dry. There was no dry. There's never dry. You thought, well, I'll be in the tent, I'll be dry. No, there's no dry. I got up to take a piss one night, and I turned on my headlamp, and all I could see inside the tent was water vapor. just droplets. And I was like, oh, there's no dry.
No, and that's getting into every fiber,
Yes.
everything
Yeah.
in that tent.
I had a wet sleeping bag. It's adorable.
Yeah.
Wet sleeping bags are adorable. It's like, I don't even know why I have this on.
Yeah, I hate the water. I would not go there.
But it was fun. It was fun. The camaraderie was fun. It's always fun being with Callan and the Meat Eater guys. They were great. And we did wind up starting a fire one night with Fritos. You know, Fritos are excellent fire starters.
The chips?
Yeah. Those greasy little fucking cunty chips. Those things.
First off, those things are fucking delightful.
Very delicious, right?
Like I said, I have selective discipline.
They stay lit for a long ass time.
You just light them with a lighter?
Yeah, they stay lit for a long time. It's kind of crazy. And so
Whose
then we
idea
got
was
those
the
Cheetos. One of the guys that worked there, someone knew it. And then we lit the Cheetos, or the Fritos rather, and the Fritos lit these little twigs.
Fritos are delightful. Cheetos are cunty.
Cheetos are not as good as Fritos.
Yeah.
They look good because they're big and fluffy, but it's so much before you get to the real. There's like air in them. They're bullshit.
I think they're delightful.
No. Cheetos.
Cheetos, yes, I'm on
Cheetos
board.
are bullshit.
Cheetos.
Yeah, there's
Fritos.
too much air.
Yeah.
Fritos, that's an honest snack.
And you can use like a spoon if you get the party size.
That's true. Yes, you can. And you can also use them to start a fire. So we lit the Fritos, and then we put the twigs over the Fritos. We got a little fire going. We were so pumped because everything was soaking wet. So then we started like looking for areas that were less wet. You know, like under log, or like on the backside of trees. We carved some bark off of those, and then we got some wet logs and put it close to that to try to dry it off. And eventually we had a whole day, like from like maybe like 3 in the afternoon till like 3 or 4 in the morning. Where there was no rain, which is crazy. It never happens up there. It's the rainiest place in North America, and we actually got a fire going. It was fun. But then when I got back home, I remember thinking, man, this is why you have to suffer. Because I feel so good. Like, I've never feel this good about California. Like, usually the sun is just always there. You just take it for granted. But this day I was like, the way it felt on my face. It was like I was on a happy drug. I was like, I felt so good. And I called him up and I go, dude, I've never been happier in my life. And I think that's one of the things, like, you really have to get into those valleys to appreciate, to really hit those peaks.
I think that's what's going on right now. As you're saying that, I'm thinking about like literally what's happening in this country. And I hope that, we get to the point where we see the sun and we feel it, but then we have to also not forget.
I think you're 100% right. I think we have it really, really easy in this country. What we're saying about this is the reality of third world countries or places where, you're under a military dictatorship where you can't get food. You can't travel wherever you want to. You don't have the freedom to move about whenever you want to. And we're in this weird situation here today in California. They put this lockdown on everybody where supposedly until April 19th, you can't have a gathering of more than 10 people and all essential businesses are supposed to be closed. Like, well, fucking good luck with that.
Yep.
Good luck with a whole month of telling people they can't work. This is crazy.
I had an experience that stuck with me that I use as like a lens of context from overseas. It was from Afghanistan. I was in a sniper overwatch position, and I was on one side of the valley, there was a unit on the other side of the valley, and there was a village in between, and I watched an individual come out in the morning to the only water source in the valley, a small stream, and watched him just take a shit in the water.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then later on in the day, another person came out, and downstream of that, took a bath in the water. And later on in the day, a woman came out with 2 kids and got their drinking water downstream from both of those things and went back to their house. And it's like, okay, we have it really, really good.
Really, really good.
Really, really good. And in that village, there was probably a light bulb.
Why did you take it in the river?
Maybe you didn't have any toilet paper because the grocery store was out.
Just wanted to watch that.
Why not? Yeah,
So that's the thing about people. It's this willingness to do something that you know is going to negatively impact others, but you don't care because in the moment it's good for you. Like when you see someone throwing a cigarette out the window of their car, that's a perfect example of that. They don't want that cigarette in their car, so they just say, somebody else will handle it.
yeah. But if you see enough of those things, or in that, it reframes the way that you look at what people complain about. And I thought about that day very often because in that short period of time, it's just like, I don't ever really have that much to complain about. Like what's going to go on right now for the next few months, I would guess. Maybe the rest of the year is going to be horrendous. And I hope that everybody makes it out okay on the other side. But the reality is people are going to die, and it's going to suck, and it's going to destroy families, and the economic destruction will probably be worse than the physical destruction from the death side of the house. But we're still going to be okay at the end of that. And even if it gets horrendous here, we are doing so much better than so many other people on the face of this earth. Their daily best is not going to even approach what it's going to look like at our worst as we navigate our way through this.
My biggest concern is not just the deaths, which is a big concern, not just the financial crisis, which is also a big concern, but it's also the government gobbling up freedoms in exchange for the illusion of safety. That's a real concern.
It's been happening for a long time, though.
Yeah, but it's also whenever there's a real crisis, there's always an excuse to pass legislation that diminishes our rights. I mean, it's just it makes it easier for them. It makes it easier for them to do what they perceive to be their job.
Only if people are scared.
Yeah.
It's because they're finding the seams in people's attention span. They're instead of being objective, they're being emotional, and that clouds your vision and it clouds your judgment. And when they're not paying attention because they're scared because they're online all goddamn day, looking at people taking pictures of the empty toilet paper aisle at the grocery store, other people who might have malicious intent are moving on that intent, and nobody's paying attention to it.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people, the more, what's the best way to say it? I'm trying not to use the word retarded. Conspiratorially minded, that don't think very well.
The first term was accurate.
Yeah, they think of it in terms of a gigantic conspiracy and this is all set up. No, people take advantage of moments.
Yep.
And that's the difference. That's what really happens. Where there's moments where they can pass something like the Patriot Act or the Patriot Act 2, they do it. It's not because they've set this up to pass that. No, they use it as an opportunity. because they know that people are scared, and they use it as an opportunity to further diminish our rights because it makes it easier for them to control us. And that's a real concern right now. It's a real concern right now, and it's something that people go, oh, that's the last thing you should be thinking about. No, it's one of the things you should be thinking about. There's many things you should be thinking about right now, besides your safety and your health, and not spreading a disease, and making sure you wash your hands, and stay away from old people, and maintain social distance. All that stuff is important, but also recognize what the fuck these career politicians and these career lawmakers and these career people that are in charge of controlling mass groups of people, any laws that help you, any rights that help you, it makes their job more difficult. And that's something to be concerned with right now.
I think fear is totally natural. I think if you don't experience fear, you might trend towards the sociopathic side of the spectrum. But it's totally natural. It should be expected. But you have a choice in how you receive what is going on, and you can allow the fear to cloud your judgment and drive your decision-making process, or you can recognize that the fear of something, fear of death overseas is what keeps you alive. Objective, analytical thought process, and doing the things that need to be done keep you alive, regardless of how scared you are or fearful you are. That's what keeps you alive. It's okay to be scared, but just don't let it take over and control you.
What the fuck is going on in Russia right now? Are they getting this? I haven't heard a goddamn peep about
I
Russia.
haven't either, actually. That's a good question.
I haven't heard a goddamn peep about Russia. Like, there's very little discussion about whether or not they've gotten it. I know that it exists in Korea. I know they've got it in South Korea.
I've seen the maps where they color code it, the circular. It's got to be.
Coronavirus. Russia doctors say government is covering up cases. Well, there you go. Of course. Of course they are. Well, this is what we have to really worry about with a dictatorship, right? That's when
What would be the
Trump
benefit of doing that? What would be the benefit of covering it up?
Superiority. You want to claim superiority over the Western world?
False superiority, because at some point the scales are going to tip and at a point where you can't go up.
Yeah, but that's part of their whole long game. Their whole game is about superiority and propaganda. It's a big part of what they do. I mean, their gross domestic product is so small. Their GDP is that of a very small European country. And yet we look at them, let's look at that. Number of coronavirus cases in Russia. Not good. Oh, okay, they got plenty. 253 cases. Oh, only one death. But that's them saying that. How the fuck do we know? Because we've had over 100 deaths now, right? There's 100 deaths in this country, I believe.
And I still think that those numbers are incredibly low. I think a lot of people are probably dealing, if you look at how they describe the symptoms, I bet a lot of people have already dealt with it and don't even realize it.
I think that's absolutely true. You look at Idris Elba. How many people are like that guy who are fit and got
So
it?
why did he
no
get
idea.
tested then?
I think he got exposure to someone else who had it, and so he felt to be a responsible person.
He was cautionary.
Self-quarantine and test himself, and he turned out to be positive. But he's updating everybody on a daily basis on Twitter. He was concerned also because he has a pre-existing condition. He has asthma.
Okay.
Even though he's a stud. You know that guy had a Muay Thai fight?
No, he
Yeah,
did.
It's fucking good too. He's good. Yeah, he fought his ass off. I think he won. Decision. It was a good fight though. I watched it on YouTube. Yeah, he trained Muay Thai for
can't be recent.
something. Yeah. While I was a movie star.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Dude, he's an animal. I love that guy.
That's
love
awesome.
Him. Big fan.
You got to assume that there are other people though out there who have no idea.
Yes.
Just rolling around. That's why I bet the numbers are way higher, but the ratios are probably similar.
Well, a lot of those NBA players that tested positive for it show no signs. But you're dealing with super athletes, right? With
Probably
incredible
the lowest
bodies.
of low risk
Yeah,
categories.
super healthy individuals in the prime of their athletic peak. Here he is right here training. Dude, he's, this is not a good example here because this is just him tired, hitting the pads, but he's got skills. There's a video of his fight. But you can see him here hitting the bag. Not bad. I mean, he's no fucking Giorgio Petrosian.
Yeah, but he's not doing it professionally either.
Yeah, but he's fit and he's got skills. He does everything correct. He's holding his hands up.
What's on his
He's
left
showing
ankle?
discipline.
What's he got there on that left ankle?
It's taped up, probably fucked up his shin sparring, and so he probably put some heavy pads on it. Probably fucked up his ankle. Like you kick elbows a lot. Have you done much striking training? See his knees
Me?
padded
Zero.
up too. Zero.
Yeah.
You kick a lot of elbows, man. I
You kick a lot of elbows?
Yeah,
Those people are.
there he is right here. Look, he's fighting. This is him fighting. There's a good video of it. It's a real fight. Idris Elba. It was for a documentary, right? So it's Thailand. So he did a lot of training in Thailand. By the way, while he's a fucking huge movie star, and
His shorts are so unacceptable.
yeah, you could see him getting better as he was doing it. But he's doing like legit sparring. Getting thrown down, the whole deal.
I didn't know you could throw somebody down if you caught their foot like that.
Oh, Thailand, it's a huge thing. In Thai boxing, it's a big part of the sport, is throws, not just throwing someone from that position, but just throws. They grab each other by the head and throw each other to the ground, sweeps, catching the leg. Look, here he is, man. He's in his fucking 40s too, by the way, when he did this. And decided to train and actually have a real fight. Let's see some of the footage of the fight. It was a pretty good fight, and the guy he fought, man, was not playing games with him. The guy he fought was trying to fuck him up.
I got nothing but respect for people who willingly step into that arena.
I know, but it's just so rare to see someone who's a bona fide movie star that's willing to do this. He's a bad dude, man.
It probably says a lot about his character. I mean, getting ready for that is it's not a stroll down the beach at sunset.
No, and according to all who trained with him, the guy trained as diligently and as hard as anyone that's a professional fighter. He just really went after it and really took the approach of like that this is a life lesson and he's going to go at it with 100% of his being. And I'm a big fan of this guy. I'm a big fan of him as an actor. But when I found this out and I watched this, I was like, okay, this guy's the real fucking deal. There's very few people that would do this.
When you're absorbing those knees and those kicks to the high leg, what's walking like the next day after that?
It's terrible. Even just training when you get hit with pads on. When someone has like big ass shin pads and they dig a shin into your thigh, it just gives in, man. Everything just like flonk. It's horrible. It's like a Charlie horse times 100. But then think of someone who can really kick, you know?
Yeah.
Think of someone who can really fucking turn their body and turn their weight into it. You know, I've had people ask me to kick them in the leg. And I'm like, dude, I'm not kicking you in the leg. Because if I kick you in the leg, I might break your fucking leg.
Why would somebody ever ask? First off,
Drums. People being silly. People being silly.
Silly gooses.
Just kick me one time in the leg. Just don't do a full blast. I'm like, if I'm kicking you full blast. Just because you asked. Just because you asked because you're so fucking stupid. But like, I'm not going to do that. I can tear your knee apart. Like, if you think it's fun. It's not fun.
No thanks.
It's like the shin bone is such a nasty bone too, because it's really kind of designed for slamming into the meat of a thigh. It's just like, it's got a blade to it, you know. And if someone's good at it and they're chopping, either chopping up or chopping down with that, it cuts your muscle in half. It like pushes. It's like the edge of the shin just separates that muscle tissue.
It makes my stomach hurt listening to you describe that.
It's terrible. We had a fighter who fought on the last UFC, the one in Vegas, and he, in one of his fights, his last fight, he had something called compartment syndrome. Pull up the card. Let me tell you who this guy is. Pull up the card for the last UFC. I was going to pull it up on my phone. The last UFC that was in Vegas. There was one of the gentlemen that was fighting on the undercard who has a scar that goes from the top of his thigh all the way down below his knee. Yeah, you found it? Beautiful. Put that up on the screen. So this is from one of his fights.
Do I not want to look at the screen,
Yeah,
Jamie?
look at the screen. Look at the screen. So this, yeah, that was the tissue in his leg. That's a tube to drain it. Everything had gone gray, and he was in real danger of losing his leg. Austin Hubbard, right? That's the gentleman's name, right? Yeah. Okay. Go back to the image of his thigh, please. So John Anik showed it to me during the broadcast. I was like, holy fuck! Like I had heard
Hold on,
he
that
had,
gray is live. Well,
yes,
it doesn't look like live
well,
muscle
broken
tissue.
down tissue. But all of that is from absorbing the shins. So punishing shins to his thigh had made his leg swell up to double the size that it normally is, and then caused like this horrible condition called compartment syndrome. I believe that's how you say it. And so they had to open up his leg, and yeah, compartment syndrome is what it is. I had never heard that before, and I've seen a lot of. I mean, I would imagine it's probably similar to what Uriah Faber had when he fought Jose Aldo. Did you ever see that fight?
No.
Uriah Faber versus Jose Aldo was the worst punishment I've ever seen anybody take to their thigh. And Uriah
took the punishment?
Yes, fighting Jose Aldo when Jose was in his prime, and he tortured Uriah's left leg so badly that Uriah documented the post-fight and then recovery of it. I mean, his leg had turned to this horrific shade of purple, doubled in size, and you know he wasn't the same person for months.
Can you get rhabdo from that too? From the muscle tissue breaking down and entering the bloodstream?
That's a good question. I don't know what you get. It's not, whatever it is not good. I don't think Uriah got compartment syndrome because he didn't have to get cut open like Austin Hubbard did. But you think of it, it's fairly rare in terms of the amount of fighters that we see fight. I mean, I've seen thousands of fights. I've only seen one person have that injury to the extent that Austin Hubbard had it, where he had to get a slice down the middle of his thigh.
I take it Uriah lost that fight?
Oh, yeah, but man, what heart he showed, because most people would have quit. I mean, he was so punished. His leg was so horrific. So you can get an image of Uriah Faber's leg post Jose Aldo fight. It was crazy how bad it was. And he just kept eating those leg kicks. That was when Aldo was in his prime. His leg kicks were so fast. It's one of the weird things about him today, because he's only 32, believe it or not, Aldo. That's Uriah's thigh afterwards.
Oh my.
Yeah, but that's long afterwards. I mean, that's him many weeks later. But like right post-fight, there's a bunch of images that he shared on social media. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Like, look at his leg. Look at that leg. I mean, that is fucking crazy. Look at his calf. I mean, it looks like a fucking linebacker's calf. It's just all swollen with blood and pus. And it's from Aldo just destroying that leg. Amazing. Just amazing how tough he is that he endured that.
You guys can have that cage shit.
It's fucking Muay Thai, and that shit is just the worst punishment on your legs.
But yeah, I enjoy watching it, but no. Thanks.
Yeah.
Much like the ocean, no.
Yeah, it's a smart way to look at it. I don't know how we got into compartment syndrome. Oh, Idris Elba. Yeah, coronavirus. Yeah, the fact that he's uniquely fit and tough guy. But there's the thing about the shin. If someone just does it gently, like John Jones did it gently to Jim Norton. My friend Jim Norton is a series of fighters who've done things to him, like put him in chokeholds and arm bars and leg kicked him and all sorts, because he asked them to do it. And gently. Don't kick me too hard. And John just kind of thumps him. Just gives him a little thump. Nothing like what John's capable of. Just a little thump. He's like, ah! It's fucking horrific. It's horrific.
Just folds him over. Yeah.
There's a guy named Pedro Hizo, and he used to fight in the UFC in the heavyweight division, and he fought Randy Couture, and Randy Couture's leg was so fucked up from that fight that it took him 6 months to recover. 6 months to recover from the leg kicks. He's the hardest kicker I've ever seen in all my years of watching people kick legs. I saw Pedro kick the bag at Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu in like the late 90s. I was there, I forget what I was there for, and Pedro just happened to be doing a workout on the bag, and this was like the early days of big gyms in Los Angeles. There wasn't a lot of them. There was Hickson's Place, and then Horian had the Gracie and Torrance, and then there was Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu, was like this kind of high-end mixed martial arts place they were putting together, and Pedro was there training. And there was this 150-pound heavy bag, and Pedro leg kicks this thing, just and I watched his bag bend in half, and then he does it again, and I just thought, like, oh my god, he's tree-trunk legs, huge legs, and perfect technique. And Marco, who watch this is Pedro. Watch this guy. Watch this. But look how he digs into it. Do it from the beginning again. Is that the beginning? Look at this. Thump. Pedro has the hardest leg kicks I've ever seen in all my years of watching.
My man did a full 360 rotation.
He went flying through the air.
Yeah.
Like he literally lifted that guy.
Powerful mustache.
Dan Severn. Yeah, and Pedro would just fuck people's legs
Oh,
up. He stopped Dan Severn
Did he
with
blow
leg
his knee
kicks.
out on that?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did.
Fuck.
I'm sure he did. He blew everybody's knee out. Pedro was a monster. The monster with the leg kicks, man.
Ooh.
Look at that. He just fucked people. He fought Rico Rodriguez, and I remember he leg kicked him once, and you see the look on Rico's face, like, fuck this. So every time he came close to doing that, Rico would just drop to his back and try to submit him. But Pedro was a devastating kicker, just fucking devastating. One of the best.
I'm not a fan of the Speedos. I'm glad that
Speedos?
it's moved beyond that.
Yeah, that was an early Brazilian thing. They used to fight with Speedos. I'm not exactly sure why.
I can't think of a single reason why that would make sense to me. Fight another
Less
man.
things to grab. I think that's what the idea was. Less things to grab.
I'm going to accept some more handles for people to grab onto than rolling around in fucking grape smugglers.
Yeah, there's something about those that are particularly offensive, right? Like a girl wearing a bikini bottom is not offensive at all, but a guy wearing a Speedo is very offensive. Like, why is it seeing more of a man's thighs is gross?
I have no answer for that.
But it is.
So, yeah.
If I see a guy on the beach in a Speedo, I judge him. You better have a French accent, motherfucker. You better be from a country that doesn't know any better. If you're American,
Yeah, you might have been raised wearing those things.
like if we went to the beach and Dudley showed up in Speedos, I'd be like, hey, fuckface, what are you doing?
Yeah, I would have a serious talk with him. Be like, are you okay?
You live in Iowa, bro.
Yeah.
You can't be wearing Speedos.
Where'd you get that?
You have a midlife crisis you want to tell me about?
Yeah, we have a chat. And if you're going to do it, if you're going to roll in Speedos, wear a fucking thong. Less to
Just
grab
go
onto.
hard, go
Less to
hard,
grab
go
onto.
hard. Well, have you ever seen the Thai cups? Thai steel cups? What's interesting is they still, for some strange reason, I'm pretty sure, please Google this, are Thai steel cups still allowed in MMA? I know Kenny Florian throughout his career as a fighter wore a Thai cup.
Is this what you're describing?
Yeah,
Just the
it's
description?
made out of metal. It's a cup made out of metal. So the ties, it's a very uncomfortable setup, right? What they do is they take this tie cup and they tie it on, and it's tied on the side. It's not a jock strap because ties aren't playing
Talking like
games.
rope, like cinching?
Yeah, cinching off your asshole, G-string style, deep into your asshole, so that after your fight is on, you've got a bunch of torn tissue up there. I mean, you're gonna have some problems.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it like that.
Clamp that bitch in there, locked down, and if you get kicked in the nuts wearing those tie cups, the guy who kicks you is the one that's hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to wear that and you want to get the mental advantage, wear the thong backwards.
It's not just that, but in jiu-jitsu, it's a spectacular leverage move. Like if there's a hump, a steel hump where your dick is, right? If you get an armbar there, you're
fuck.
facing, yes. My friend Amir Renovardi, I rolled with him once, and he mounted me and drove his dick into my chest with his steel tie cup, and I was like, fuck, that's really painful. And he's like, yeah, that's why I wear it. I was like, wow, I never even thought of that. Because instead of that position being just a bad position to be in, now it was really fucking painful.
Few people can say they've tapped to a dick.
I didn't tap to it, but it was hurt. I tapped to something else.
Here's the deal, though. I bet some people have.
Oh yeah, you would tap to it. Yeah, if you didn't know what the fuck you were doing, for sure. Like if some guy got on top of you and it was your first rodeo,
Oh, yeah.
and he's got a tie cup on and he's literally in your sternum.
Well, especially if they're skilled and they know how to apply pressure.
Yes, dude, it was painful, and I was like, oh, but it opened up a door. I was like, well, of course. But then we were talking about leverage points, and I was like, well, a leverage point, like I believe they're illegal in IBJJ tournaments and a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments because of the fact that it creates this fulcrum.
Why would you wear a cup when you roll anyway? If it's just
I got my dick busted once. I wear a cup when I roll. I
you
wear,
really?
yeah, Diamond MMA cup. Diamond MMA makes these amazing. I'll get you one. You should wear it. Protect your dick. Protect your dick.
How did you break your dick?
My friend Einstein did it. Shout out to Einstein. Scott Epstein, he's the instructor at 10th Planet, West LA. It wasn't his fault. It was just a thing that happened. He was trying to pass my guard, and he was trying to slice his knee through, and he landed firmly on my dick. And I didn't have a cup. And so I thought it hurt, but we kept going, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the workout, I went to the locker room, and my jock strap was filled with blood. And I was like, well, that's not good. And so I peed, and all this blood came out, and that's not good. But my dick didn't hurt that bad. So I was like, okay, do I go to the doctor, or do I treat it like my nose? So I treat it like my nose.
Good call.
Because if my nose is bleeding, I was like, okay, well, yeah, it happens all the time.
I'm going to treat it like my nose at least for a little bit before I have to go to the doc and say I broke my dick.
So I decided, well, let's see if it still works. So I went home and jerked off. And then So when I went home and jerked off, it was like, you ever get an egg and there's like kind of like a half a chicken in that egg?
Yeah.
It's like blood and like chaos.
Oh, fuck, Joe.
That's what the load looked like. I was like, well, it still works, but that's not supposed to look like that. So I said, let's touch and go. Let's see what it's like in the morning. And in the morning, it's like my dick just seemed normal. It seemed fine. I peed in the morning. There wasn't any blood anymore. So I kept an eye on it. Then eventually I didn't do anything. But I was super concerned. But I immediately went and got a really good cup. And
Does it change the way you roll at all?
No.
I just feel like it'd be uncomfortable.
No, it doesn't. You don't even notice it.
Okay.
You don't even notice it. My favorite are the diamonds because the Diamond MMA cup is a compression. It's a cup that curves under, so it goes like to the taint, but it's in compression shorts, so it's really snug down, and it's designed that way. And if he gave me a bunch of them to give them away, so I have one for you. Who did we give one away to recently? We gave one to somebody that was here.
The Doom guy.
Oh, Hugo Martin, who was shout out to Hugo, who was one of the creators of Doom Eternals, this new amazing video game that's gonna ruin my life.
Best I could find is this here.
Shall wear a groin protector of their own selection as type approved by the commissioner. Yeah, see, so it doesn't say. Yeah, you have to. That's MMA. That's MMA.
okay. I thought this was the IBJJ.
Yeah, see, it's male mixed martial artist shall wear.
Okay.
Now, of a type approved by the commissioner, the commissioners may say you can't wear a steel one. But Kenny Florian throughout his whole career wore a steel tie cup. Cut to.
Jiu-Jitsu, but IBJJF says you can't do that.
Yes, you can't. Okay. There it goes.
Hard material.
That's
Cannot be
right.
fashioned.
Cannot be fashioned of hard material that may cause harm to a permanent out. Okay, see, that's why. Because the steel cup is a significant advantage. If you get into a position, you're in an armbar position. It's like doing an armbar over a rock.
I was gonna say it seemed like it would supercharge any leverage points.
Yes, it has a big effect. It's really good. But Kenny said that he never had to worry about getting kicked in the nuts because it always hurt the opponent.
Oh,
It hurt him. And then Thai fighters. I mean, you think the way Thais kick, they kick better than anybody on the planet. And they're always throwing leg kicks, so the possibility of kicking the nuts is always there. So with them, that Thai steel cup was imperative. And they went for function over comfort. So the Thai cup is just not a good time.
I'm gonna sidetrack to answer a previous question too.
Oh, okay.
In France, loose-fitting trunks are not allowed to be worn by men. So you have to wear a tight-fitting.
Who is the governing body on this fashion?
They
Someone
don't
who
allow to
loves
kick you out of the
dicks.
pool, I guess. I don't know.
They want to see the outline. It's
Yeah.
super creepy.
You want to see what you're smuggling.
I was digging
Really?
through that. Yeah, they told me yes, I checked, but
Who's enforcing this?
I don't know.
Someone, Monsieur, your shorts are too loose. What do you have in your shorts?
But it's probably like why James Bond's always wearing Speedos and not.
I guess, but isn't he British?
I bet he's hanging out in like villas and chateaus and whatnot.
It's true. It's just complying with the local laws.
Exactly.
That's true, I guess. Yeah, good point. Fuck. Google Thai steel cup
Yeah, I need to.
so you can see what this bad boy is. Now, I don't recommend this for rolling because I think it's rude to your training partners. But like I said, my friend Amir, he fucking opened my eyes to it because I never thought about it that way. See, that's what it looks like when it's fully leathered because it's, that's a diamond one. See, that's the one that I use. That's
Okay.
the shit. And like I said, I'm gonna give you one before you leave here. You'll swear by it. Just one good dick injury and you're gonna go, okay, this is not worth it. And again, I was doing jiu-jitsu for probably 12, there it is. That's a Thai steel cup. I was doing jiu-jitsu for probably 12 years before I had this dick injury, so it's not that common.
So that bottom strap of the old tie cut
through the
crack.
right down the old pipe. Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
No, thank you.
Not comfortable. I'm sure it sucks, but it's. I think in a Thai fight, it's probably mandatory.
Or yeah, that might be good in the gunfight too. It might ricochet someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Someone wants kicking the nuts and they're just hitting metal.
No, thank you.
Yeah, well, that's what Kenny said. Kenny said, listen, if somebody kicks me in the nuts, it's bad for them.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Probably wouldn't do it twice.
Yeah, I mean, you rarely see nut shots in Thai fights, and I really think that's probably a big part of it, is because they know there's a fucking steel cup there, just a barrier.
Plus, in a fight like that, I don't think a nut shot's necessarily going to end it to you.
Well, nut shots can do terrible damage. There was a guy that fought in the UFC, Brian Green, and in sparring one time, he decided to not wear a cup. I think it was like just the last couple rounds of sparring, and he just said, look, I'm just going to go lie, whatever. Some guy kicked him in his nuts, and his nut exploded, so he lost one of his testicles. You got to think of how hard a person can kick. You know, think about a guy like Stylebender kicking you in the nuts. Think about like a real good kickboxer kicking you, and it hit that little mushy little organ that makes all
Probably
your jizz.
press it against something
just
hard.
flatten it and splatter it, and it can never heal. Yeah, they explode, man. Your balls can explode. Not good. You know, so that's what happened to this one gentleman who was a professional fighter. He was a Militich guy, I'm pretty sure, and lost a ball.
What do you think's going to happen with professional fighting as this goes on?
In what way? With the
UFC?
UFC?
Yeah, the cards that they have lined up.
Dude, they're going to fight on a battleship. They're going to take Khabib and Tony and put them in international waters and helicopter everybody in. I don't know, honestly. I
mean, they can't have the crowds.
No, they can't have crowds. Not
Yeah.
for a while. I mean, this fight is supposed to take place April 18th. That's not that far from now.
Where is it supposed to take place?
It's supposed to be in Brooklyn, but it's not going to be in Brooklyn.
They've already shut that down?
Yeah, they've shut it down. This is they don't know how long it's going to take for this virus to run its cycle.
Yeah.
And it could conceivably take a year. I don't know, man. That's the weirdest thing about all this. Is like sometimes when I'm in bed at night, like I'll get up to take a leak or something like that. I'm like, this is crazy. Like no one knows what's happening. No one knows what's going to happen. And then we're relying on politicians to make these decisions and these choices, and based on disease experts who weren't adequately funded or prepared to take this on in the first place. Apparently, the Trump administration had gotten rid of the pandemic office. There was a whole office that's supposed to be.
I've seen both yay and nay on that one. People are like, fact check that it's not true, and then other people are saying that he did. That's a
good question, because the woman who asked Trump kind of caught him off guard and he wasn't aware of it.
Yeah.
But there's so many stupid fucking. There's this one lady there's this video of her saying, "I heard that someone in your office referred to it as the Kung Flu."
I saw that. Yeah.
Like, is this the time to worry about this? Who's the? And he goes, "Who? Who did it?" They didn't know. And then they did the same thing to Kellyanne Conway. And they're asking her, and she's like, "Well, do you know my husband's half Asian? My children are Asian. Like, do you think I'm like? What do you? I'm not going to deal in hypotheticals." She's like, "Well, this is a nonsense conversation, but it's this goddamn social justice narrative that people are still trying to push, even in times of crisis. Who called it the Kung Flu? Like, if Bobby McFuckface called it Kung Flu, and you got a video of, hey, Bobby, don't do that. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But you don't even have a name. You said you heard someone called it the Kung Flu, and this is what you want to talk to the president about? You have one goddamn question? The name of a thing? How about
Circle
are
of
we
concern.
going to die?
Circle of influence versus circle of concern.
Also, this is something that they know makes people upset, and is something they know that can get a rise,
Yeah.
and something they know that can get traction in terms of a news story.
Which is the exact opposite of what they should be doing.
Exactly. Well, this is what the one good thing about this is it highlights how much nonsense we put credence in, how much nonsense we spend time paying attention to. And that stuff, when you're just trying to get food and toilet paper and stay healthy and not get a fucking killer disease, all those other things they get thrown out the window. And that's the good thing about this. That's one of the only good things. The other good thing I think is I'm hoping this gives us a greater sense of community. I mean, I'm hoping that people come together. I really do. I really hope people come together and they realize that we have had it so easy, and it's one of the reasons why we're complaining about stupid shit, is because we had it so easy.
Yeah, and I hope it tightens the social contract that we should have where we're taking care of older generations and everything in between.
Yeah, and I hope they do. If they didn't used to have a pandemic department that was shut down, find out if that's true. Since we're here, we are in the middle of talking about this. Did the Trump administration close down the
I've seen
pandemic
multiple
office?
posts where it said they did, and then multiple where it said they did.
The problem with today, there's so much bullshit out there, Andy. So much bullshit. Ah! It's so hard, and it's easy for guys like us. We have hundreds of pounds of meat sitting around. Our families are fed. We don't have to worry about it like a lot of people do.
Would you give that meat away to people in need?
I'm giving that meat away. I'm giving it to all my
I would
friends.
too, yeah.
I'm giving it away to a lot of my friends. But I try to give something to Duncan, but his wife won't let him come back.
Why? Did you guys get in trouble?
She's scared. Yeah, she's scared. Yeah, she's scared. Well, they're new parents. They have a 1-year-old. She's a young gal.
Yeah. His outfit was amazing.
I know.
Yours was not bad either.
Thank you. Well, I've worn that one many times.
Yeah, I know,
That's
yeah.
my go-to. I'm too stoned outfit. NASA suit with sunglasses.
It's a power move, though. Yeah, you could just sit there and
Yeah, I'm in space, bitch. Yeah. Meanwhile, Duncan's got a face mask on,
a
ghillie suit,
no.
sunglasses.
Those fucking ghillie suits are so uncomfortable. Fuck.
It kept falling down. Like I was saying, that you're like a fat white trash lady in Florida that's got a halter top.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like you got to kind of keep pulling that thing up while you're yelling at your husband.
The concept is great. They don't work. It's just so heavy. You sweat your ass off. It's exhausting. Just take all that shit off.
Yeah, I would feel like Sitka subalpine camo would be just as effective if you're hiding.
When I went through sniper school, they gave you ghillie suit, and before this, there was the shooting phase first, and then the stalking phase. And you're like taking off burlap in these intricate patterns. We did stalking out in an island, which is the deserts of high desert of California, out by the Chocolate Mountains. And there's just a couple, like it's sparse, some trees, some brushes.
And you're wearing a ghillie suit.
Fuck me. And you're like crawling, and the sun is hitting you, and it's like it's glowing. It's just like ah. And then so you spent like months getting these things ready, and then you just get scissors out, just cutting all of this crap off.
To reduce weight.
Well, the light reflects to it differently. It has,
yeah.
So what you're better off doing is just grabbing local like foliage in the area and just jamming it in there.
Oh, okay.
And you can move. It's just they're miserable. It was a horrendous experience.
The idea of camo with animals is so interesting to me. Because when I first found out that animals don't see things the way we see things, they see movement.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. Like they have to. That's what keeps them alive. Something twitches. Like, what the fuck was that? Is that something real? And you ever seen an elk kind of look in your direction, not even sure what you are?
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you?
Yeah.
Like, bitch, you don't even know? And it's like this weird movement thing where they're like just waiting to see movement. If you don't move long enough, you can stay still long enough, they just go about their business.
Yeah, but then they come check back again. That's when they bust me.
Get impatient? Yeah.
Sometimes, from time to time.
Now that you're living in Montana, how often are you getting to go hunt?
I actually didn't use my Montana tag last year. I thought
didn't?
I had success in Alberta. I got a bull there and a mule
By the
deer,
way, I feel
and then I
bad.
had success on that last day in
Gosh, you know
Utah.
how you
And
love
I
these
didn't
guys.
have the room for any more meat, so
Oh.
I ate my Montana deer and elk tag.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
As you
good
know,
for you.
that was a
Yeah,
done deal long
The
ago.
opportunity is there for sure, though.
I almost feel like, for me, I would have maybe gone and donated the meat. Because it's like, one of the things about, and people say, why would you do that? One of the things about hunting is, I think you have to do it a lot. It's like stand-up or jiu-jitsu or there's a lot of things where the experience is so intense and so alien from everyday life that you have to be accustomed to. Like one of the things about fighting that I always found, like I fought way better when I fought often. Because like one of my biggest tournaments that I won was the American Open that I won I fought 1 week and then I fought the next week. And I'm like, God, I feel so normal. It feels so normal to fight. Like I just did it.
There's a currency aspect to
Yeah.
it. Yeah. It's the same thing in all the stuff like the skydiving and base jumping stuff I used to do. The more you do it, you're on autopilot.
Yeah, you get used to that experience.
Yeah, the farther from the exposure, you used to like, it doesn't feel quite right. Or then you start like, is this how I do this? Like, is this how you route that?
My first hunt every year is always weird. That's one of the reasons why I really like going to Lanai first. Because first of all, there's like an actual ethical imperative to kill animals in Lanai.
Yeah.
Like they have to be
They
killed.
need you to be a savage murderer.
They fucking have 30,000 deer in a tiny island with 3,000 people.
Yeah.
So they need you to do, but and it also it's really hard to do. Like bow hunting on Lanai. One of the things that Dudley and I found out, and Cam on our last hunt last year, that we go, how many people are bow hunting this year? It's like a lot. Like, how many people are successful? He goes, we had 150 hunters last year. One was successful. Everybody else pulled out the rifle. We're like, what?
Whoa.
One guy was successful bow hunting in the time that we were there to the time that we were there again in a whole year. One guy.
Holy shit, man.
They're so wired. Me, I don't have to tell you.
Yeah, I was there. It was
It's
humbling.
crazy.
But you do get a bunch of reps out. Like if you had a little rust you need to
Yes.
knock off, that
Yes.
is where it's gonna. You'll be.
Yes.
If you get in the
Composed.
zone there and you can start getting in on them, you are gonna be a ninja on some
Yeah.
Western Rocky Mountain stuff.
The one axis deer that I shot last year, Dudley and I crawled for a good solid hour and a half till we got to position. I mean, we fucking creepy crawled until we got behind this bush.
Yep.
And then I shot this deer like 50 plus yards from my knees and whacked him. And it was like, that was a hard-earned kill.
And that's a far shot on one of those things.
Yes, because those fuckers are so fast. We have a video of me shooting one at 80, and the deer is just sitting there eating, feeding.
Yep.
The arrow, because I have a lighted knock, the arrow's tracking in flight, headed to the pump station. 15 yards away, he's like, he hears it, and he's gone. So
Yeah.
this arrow's going 290 feet a second. 15 yards away from him, he hears it, and he's gone. And then by the time the arrow got to him, his physical body was no longer there. It's like, here he is. It's going right there, and then the arrow's on. He's like, chong, bye.
When I was there with Barklow, he had a cameraman behind him. And I think his shot was inside of 40. And the guy was taking high-speed pictures. And you see the arrow release and the animal is calm. And in the next frame, the striations that are visible to include like its nose, every muscle in the animal, and the arrow is just like a little bit out of the bow, and then by the time where the arrow hits, the thing is like halfway off the frame. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh
What we
boy.
found is you got to hunt them in the afternoon because it's windy and they don't hear anything.
We had 4 days out there where it was like just enough wind that it would swirl, and Barkle and I just trudged through and just discussed the most optimal ways to like commit suicide in the evenings.
Cam shot one bedded at 70 yards. He hit a frontal shot at 70 yards right in the pump station because he's Cam Hanes, because
Yeah.
he's a savage. But it's like the perfect shot at 70 yards, and like that's how you do it. Like they don't hear it because it's so far away.
Yeah.
The thing was bedded and it was windy.
The first one I actually shot there was bedded too.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. If you can catch them bedded, at least you have this like window where they have to get to their feet before they can run.
It's not a big window.
That's not a big window. Well, you're talking about an animal that evolved to get away from tigers.
Yeah. No, I've never been around an animal that was more tuned up or keyed up than that.
And also the pressure. They get hunted 365 days a year, and then there's snipers that come there every day just to reduce the population.
Because they have to, right?
They have to.
Yeah.
But also they feed the locals. They eat great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're eating the best meat on earth.
Hard to describe to people how good Axis deer is.
So delicious. It's so delicious.
Prefer elk over it,
Yeah.
just by a touch.
Well, it's a little more tender than elk, which is interesting because they're so fast. You
Yeah.
would think. Like I had some elk last night. It was delicious, but like there's a chew to it. You know, elk is like I like it, but my kids are like, oh, it's so chewy.
How was that elk heart you had made?
Fantastic. Elk heart tacos. So
Good
good.
hard pass on that.
You don't eat the heart?
No,
I eat
I'm
the
not
liver.
exploratory with my food. I'll eat tacos, but I need it to be like out of the sirloin.
Well, when I went carnivore, one of the things I started eating is I started eating a lot of liver.
Organ meats?
Yeah, I buy a lot of beef liver. I buy that all the time. Whenever stores have it, I buy beef liver.
Huh.
It's really good for you.
I'm gonna take a hard pass on that too.
It's good. Leave it off of me.
That's fine. You
Beef
can have
liver,
all of that.
eggs. I've been eating a lot of eggs. The best I ever felt was when I went carnivore for a month, strict carnivore for a month. I didn't do anything but carnivore. Like occasionally I have like a grape or something like that, and maybe I ate an olive.
Why'd you come off of it?
Oh, because I just committed to it for January.
Yeah.
And I'm not really off of it. I'm mostly eating that way, and then occasionally I'll fuck off and have a piece of apple pie. Like during this apocalypse,
Yeah.
I've been kind of eating whatever. Because I'm figuring like, while this apocalypse is going on, I'm just going to take in calories. Because I don't want to be a prissy diet person when, all I can have is rice.
Variable discipline. I'm the same way. I can eat an entire trash bag full of popcorn. And I will sometimes.
But it's just the concern is it could get to the point, like I don't want to have my body adjust to eating regular food when that might be the only thing available. I'm really concerned that we could come down to a supply chain problem and a food problem. And, if that does happen, this is one thing. This is one thing of a virus. What if one thing gets compounded by solar flares that knock out the power grid or an earthquake or multiple things that could happen simultaneously at any time?
We're gonna find out who people really are really fast.
Yes. All right, Andy, we just did 3 hours.
We did?
Yeah.
That's how you do that, I guess.
How crazy is that? 3 hours and 10 minutes. It's over. It's 3:10 now.
And we did it for, is it 3:10 or we did 3
3:10.
All right.
It's 3:20. It's according to that thing. Which one's right? Is this one? It's 3:10. Oh, that one says 3:10. Oh, 3:20 is the date, you fucking retard. How dare me! All right, love to you all. Thank you, everybody. Andy Stumpf, thank you. Tell everybody your podcast, Bleared Hot, available on iTunes, everywhere you look. Your Instagram and Twitter.
Andy Stumpf 212 on Instagram. A Stumpf for Andy Stumpf 77.
Spell that for people who can't.
ANDYSTUMPF, as in go fuck yourself.
with me, man. Listen! All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'm out.